What if the price you pay for milk, for eggs, for your bread wasn't the real price? What if the total at checkout was different for you than your next-door neighbor? What if the price wasn't based on the product, but on you? Food costs are through the roof, and we're all feeling it. We're told it's inflation, supply chains, whatever. But what if there's something else going on? A hidden layer of tech working silently in the background, designed to figure out the absolute most you're willing to pay, and then charge you exactly that. So, we organized an experiment. We asked 400 people to buy the exact same groceries at the exact same time. They all thought they'd pay the same price. They were wrong. What an investigation uncovered wasn't a mistake or a random glitch. It was a system that charges different people wildly different prices for the exact same groceries, and the result will make you question every grocery bill you've ever paid. To get to the bottom of this, we couldn't just rely on stories. We needed data. A lot of data. So, we looked at the results of one of the most ambitious grocery shopping investigations ever put together. An organization recruited 400 shoppers, a diverse group of people from different backgrounds in cities all across the country, from Seattle to Washington, D.C. Let's call them the citizen investigators. Their mission was simple, but it had to be precise. Each of the 400 shoppers got the same list of 18 to 20 common grocery items. Think a dozen eggs, cereal, milk, pasta, the stuff that fills millions of carts every day. The experiment focused on one of the biggest online grocery platforms in North America, Instacart. That's a service available to more than 85% of U.S. households, all built on the promise of convenience. Now, the most critical part was the timing. All 400 shoppers were coordinated to open the Instacart app at the exact same moment. On signal, they all selected the same store in their area, added the identical items to their cart for pickup, and went to the final checkout screen. They didn't actually buy anything, they just recorded the final price for each item and the total cost. The hypothesis was simple. If we're all shopping for the same items from the same store at the same time, the price should be the same. Right? A tiny variation could just be a glitch, but what the researchers were looking for was a pattern. A deliberate, systemic difference that could only be explained by something working behind the scenes. They were looking for a ghost in the machine. And they found it. As the data started pouring in from the shoppers, at first it was just a mess of screenshots and spreadsheets. But as the team organized it, a startling picture began to emerge. The very first result they analyzed set the tone for everything else. Let's take a Safeway in Washington, D.C. Two shoppers, we'll call them Maria and David, living in the same city. At exactly 2 p.m., they both added a dozen Lucerne eggs to their Instacart cart. Maria's price? $3.99. Seems normal, but David, at the exact same second, for the identical carton of eggs, was shown a price of $4.79. That's a 20% difference. It wasn't a sale, not a different brand, not a different store. Same product, same time, two different prices. At first you might think, okay, an anomaly. But then they looked at another item, a standard box of Signature Select cornflakes. Maria's price was $2.99. David's was $3.69, a 23% markup. When the researchers cross-referenced with other shoppers in the D.C. area, it wasn't just Maria and David. The investigation found that for the same carton of eggs, Instacart was showing 5 different prices all at the same time. $3.99, $4.28, $4.59, $4.69, and $4.79. This wasn't a glitch. This was a system. A deliberate, calculated, hidden price experiment. The research project found that almost 3/4, about 74%, of all the grocery items they tested were being offered at more than one price at the same time. It was clear that the price tag we see online is no longer a fixed reality. It's just a suggestion, a starting point for an algorithm to decide what you should be charged. The question wasn't if this was happening, but how and why. To understand the why, we need to talk to the experts. We looked at what data scientists and consumer advocates who study this stuff had to say. What this investigation uncovered is a textbook example of what they call AI-driven price experimentation, or dynamic pricing. This isn't the old model where a store manager sets a price for weeks. This is a system that uses artificial intelligence to constantly test and learn. It's a high-tech game of pricing roulette, and millions of us are the guinea pigs without even knowing it. Here's the simple version. Companies like Instacart are using AI to analyze massive amounts of data in real time. They're constantly running experiments to see how sensitive different customers are to price changes. The goal is pretty straightforward. Find the highest possible price a customer will pay for an item without abandoning their cart, and in doing so, maximize profits. Instacart itself has acknowledged that it runs these kinds of randomized price tests. While they claim the experiments aren't designed to increase the average price set by their retail partners, the technology they have acquired tells a different story. In 2022, Instacart bought an AI pricing tool company called Eversight. On its own website, Instacart has advertised that this software can boost a grocery store's profits by 2 to 5%. And how does it do that? By running these exact kinds of price tests to find chances to nudge prices up. Instacart's public stance is that retailers set the prices, and they just pass them on. But that's not the whole story. An email between Instacart and Costco, accidentally sent to a reporter, revealed an internal term for this practice: smart rounding. While the full context is internal, it suggests a more active role in managing and optimizing prices for profit. The evidence from the 400 shoppers was overwhelming. This wasn't happening at just one store. The investigation found evidence of these experiments happening on the Instacart platform for major retailers across the board, including Target, Safeway, Kroger, Costco, and Albertsons. At a Safeway in Seattle, a box of wheat thins showed a 23% price difference between shoppers. That same happened for Skippy peanut butter and Oscar Mayer turkey at another store. For the exact same basket of groceries at one store, some shoppers were quoted around $114, while others were quoted nearly $124. A $10 difference for the same items at the same time. As one expert put it, the company is learning from every single click. It's learning what you buy, when you buy, and what you're willing to spend. They call it testing price sensitivity. But what it really is building a profile on you to figure out how to charge you more. This brings us to the most disturbing part of this entire investigation. The price differences weren't totally random. The data showed that the result of Instacart's systems was that shoppers were being sorted into what were effectively different price groups. Imagine 5 people in a virtual checkout line. The AI looks at them and, without them knowing, effectively assigns each one to a different tier. The person in Group 1 gets the lowest price, the person in Group 2 gets a price that's a little higher, and so on, up to Group 5, which gets charged the most. The experiment found that for most items, there were as many as 5 distinct price groups operating at the same time, and other researchers have seen up to 7. This isn't a free market, it's a caste system for groceries. Now, this practice has a name: algorithmic price discrimination, and it raises a huge question. Instacart has publicly stated that its tests never use personal, demographic, or user-level behavioral data. But if that's true, how does the algorithm decide who ends up in the expensive group versus the cheap group? Technology experts warn that even without your name, AI can infer a ton about you from your digital footprint, your browsing history, past purchases, your location, even the type of phone you're using. In fact, the Federal Trade Commission has warned that a person's precise location or browser history can be used to target them with different prices. So are you being charged more because of your zip code? Because you tend to shop late at night and seem desperate? Because you're using a new iPhone, which signals you might have more money to spend? The company denies this, but the system they've built creates the perfect architecture of this kind of digital redlining. You're not supposed to know what group you're in or why. All you see is the final price. And the financial hit isn't small. A follow-up analysis by Consumer Reports, using Instacart's own data, estimated that being consistently put in a higher price group could cost a typical family an extra $1,200 a year. That's a car payment, a month's rent in some places, quietly siphoned away by an algorithm designed to find out exactly how much you're willing to cough up. This is the shocking truth. During one of the worst grocery affordability crises in a generation, a multi-billion-dollar tech company is running hidden experiments on millions of customers to see how much more it can get away with charging. They've turned buying food into a psychological game where the house always has an edge because it knows more about you than you know about it. So what does this all mean for you? It means the basic trust we have in a marketplace, that a price is a price, has been broken. This isn't just about Instacart. This is the future of retail if we let it happen. A future where nothing has a fixed price and the price tag isn't about what the item is worth, but what a company thinks you are worth. It's an unfair, murky market that thrives on them having all the information and you having none. But the fight against this is already starting. Lawmakers in several states are looking at laws to rein in this kind of surveillance pricing. New York, for example, has passed laws requiring more transparency when companies use your personal data to make decisions. But regulation takes time. In the meantime, you are not helpless. Here are concrete steps you can take to fight back. 1. Clear your history. Regularly clear the cookies and browsing data on your devices. This makes it harder for platforms to build a detailed behavioral profile on you. 2. Use private browsing. When shopping, use your browser's private or incognito mode. This can stop platforms from linking your shopping session to your past behavior. Some experts even suggest using a VPN to mask your location. 3. Cross-compare platforms. Don't just trust one app. Before you buy, check the price on a competitor's app or on the grocery store's own website. You might be shocked at the difference. 4. Abandon your cart. If a price feels high, just leave the items in your virtual cart for a day or two. This tells the algorithm you're sensitive to price. Sometimes you'll even get an email with a discount to lure you back. 5. Shop in person when possible. This is still a very effective defense. While some stores use electronic shelf labels, the price you see on the shelf is generally the same for everyone at that moment, and it's much harder for them to charge you a personalized price in the real world. By taking these steps, you're not just saving money. You are sending a signal back to the algorithm. You're teaching it that you're a savvy consumer who won't be easily manipulated. You're fighting back with your own data. This is a fight for a fair market. The more people who know about these practices, the more pressure we can put on companies and lawmakers to demand transparency. So please, share this video with your friends and family, anyone who buys groceries. Warn them, and scroll down to the comments right now and let us know. Have you ever suspected you were being charged a different price online? What's the most shocking price difference you've ever seen? The investigation with 400 shoppers started with a simple question. Do we all pay the same price for food? The answer is a shocking no. It uncovered a system where you are effectively sorted into price groups and charged more based on what an algorithm thinks you'll pay. This isn't an honest market, it's a rigged game, an invisible tax on the unsuspecting. But now, you are no longer unsuspecting. You know the game being played. The power to fight back starts with knowing, and it grows with action. The price of our food should be based on its cost, not a secret profile built to exploit us. It's time we demanded that the price be the price for everyone.